Is a sponsored segment for Fatal Core TCG. It is an indie card game that I looked through the tutorial and a couple of how to play videos, and the actual gameplay seemed just pretty unique. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on if it's good or bad yet. We're going to spend the next couple of hours playing it today, and we'll form an opinion as we go. But the gameplay looked unique and is doing a lot of new, different things. So I'm going to start by playing through the tutorial on stream, so that way at the start of the video we have folks to get a handle of it and get a little bit better handle on it myself. The other thing that stood out to me as something kind of novel they're doing with this is the monetization model for their game is unique. So unlike a lot of these card games that have, they have a spectator mode apparently. That's cool. Unlike a lot of these card games where there's microtransactions and stuff in them to buy booster packs, you actually cannot give them money in this game. So how it works is all of the cards that you get are earned through playing, and the way in which they're monetizing is they're crowdfunding their development via Patreon, which at first glance I was like, oh, that sounds kind of weird, but then I'm thinking on it more. My job is basically crowdfunded via something like Patreon. Like, I wouldn't, how do you whale then? Yeah, so like there isn't whaling in the game. So let's jump into the tutorial and take a look at what some of the actual gameplay looks like. But the monetization model is definitely novel. Wake up, my little experiment. You came down here to seek the core, didn't you? How ridiculous. You were way too weak. Fortunately for you, I fixed that. Attributes from everyone I fought are loaded into your juicy brain. In theory, you should be the perfect soldier. In practice, you need training. You may call me Prisoner 218. Let's get started. Your first battle. Evidently, they're crowdfunded enough to pay for 2 hours of your time. Corrective. Your first battle is about to take place. Start by hiding 2 cards. So, to talk about what happens here while you're playing, to talk about some of the things they do that are unique compared to some other card games, is that, so it tells me to hide 2 cards in my hand here to get started, and aside from the 2 cards that you're hiding, all cards in both players' hands are face up through the game while you play it. So, and then in the turns, players play cards simultaneously and then reveal their plays at the same time. So as you learn the cards and what's going on in the game, you kind of can predict what your opponent is going to do and then try and make your play to counter what they're doing each turn. So I don't really understand. I've just watched a couple tutorials, so I don't have a good grasp on like what's good to hide or not. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hide these 2 units here, and maybe we'll get a feel for it as we go. Very good. You're smarter than my last batch of mutants. Look at that. Most of your opponent's hand is open. Use this to anticipate your opponent's plays. Yeah, so we can see here, of course, they will use the same information against you. Now play that Callous Mage in the top middle of the field of your board. So, the way the actual game plays out is you can see on each side we have life totals here. We both start at 80. And then there's 5 or 6 different units or champions. I'm not sure what they call them exactly in that game, or avatars that you pick from. And the avatars dictate what modifiers your game board has. So where you position units in the top or bottom row in the 6 slots give them different modifiers or abilities based on which champion you have to play. So the tutorial told me to play the Callous Mage in the top middle. Each turn, if you control only this creature, give -1/-1 to opposing creatures. So we'll click here, and we'll click in the middle and click go. And then we see our opponent played something here too. Did you see what happened to his stats? He gained +1/+1. That's right. When a creature enters a field, it's instantly modified by the field's bonus. Hey, Kanjo, thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. If you want thoughts on magic bans, you can type !bans in chat. Callous Mage is automatically activates his ability each turn, giving the Scion -1/-1. Can you tell me what happened next? We both took damage, right? We took 4 from their thing and they took 5 from ours. It's kind of a neat way to do the tutorial. Like, things are happening and then it's asking us to verify what happened to make sure we understand. Both players' creatures attack the opposing lead character. Lead character is the name of these things. Lead character. Sayat, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Both creatures attack the opposing lead by default. If you reduce your opponent's life to 0 or have more life after 12 turns have passed, you win. So the game ends after 12 turns regardless. Yeah, there's a lot of the gameplay feels very unique. It's very different than a lot of other things out there, and the monetization model is very unique too. Okay, so we draw a card at the start of the turn. Callous Mage, each turn, the ability will only trigger if there's no other creatures on your board. Now is the time to use a spell. Select the Tremor from your hand and cast it on your opponent's bottom row. So Tremor, target a row on the opponent's board, deal 3 damage to each creature in that row, and 1 damage to each other creature on your opponent's board. So we click our spell, we click their bottom row, we click go. So my spell comes up in the middle. It deals some damages. Their thing died and turned into a corpse here. Spells resolve right after creatures come into play. Not only did Tremor finish off the Flamerock Scion, but it damaged the newly played Lapis Diva as well. The Scion made such a lovely corpse. Corpses appear when most creatures die from taking damage or are killed by a spell effect. On the other hand, creatures which are erased vanish without a trace. Correct, Paladin. So the turn structure is you can see all the cards in your opponent's hand except for the 2 that they hit at the start of the game, and each player plays 1 card per turn simultaneously and they're revealed. And I would assume as you learn more about what the cards do and how people are likely to play them to the board, you're trying to predict what they're going to do and making your plays to counter them. The decks in this game are 18 cards, and the games last 12 turns at most. So most games, you will play, you will see every card in your deck, but you'll only play 12 of the 18. A normal creature can't be played on top of a corpse. It's important to be able to clear corpses from your board, otherwise you'll get locked out. Your opponent has drawn a Paradox Bomb. There's no doubt in my mind they're going after the Callous Mage. It's time you learned about my special mana magnet. Play a Shrine Servant in the bottom middle field of your board. So what does Paradox Bomb do? Erase target creature on your opponent's board. Field change each turn. Erase this creature. Okay, so you said play my mana magnet. Okay, so this is a mana magnet. So let's play this. It said play this, and then we can play it here. So we pick our card, we pick where we want to play it, and then we hit go, and the opponent's card gets flipped up as well. Shrine Servant has Mana Magnet, which means she will absorb the opponent's next spell. Of course, she won't survive. Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right? Now we watch. So they played the Paradox Bomb. And then this shrinks this. And the Rage mechanic kills this and turns into a corpse. Okay. So every single turn, all of your units that are in play deal damage equal to their power to the opponent's life total. So they're down to 65 now after starting at 80. Our poor Shrine Servant was erased from existence. With Mana Magnet, there's no corpse to clean up. Her sacrifice won't be in vain. Who am I kidding? This was a tutorial match. Her sacrifice was totally in vain. Alright, the anatomy of a card. Card name and rank. Lower middle text, the ability. Bottom right is the HP. This is the power, is the lead affiliation. There's Callous Mage, a powerful 8 rank creature. A creature's name and rank are displayed at the top of the card. Ability text appears in the lower middle. Power and HP appear in the circles in the bottom. Rank will become important when you're building your deck. There is only so much space for high-ranking creatures. Use it wisely. Power and HP direct the flow of battle. Power is inflicted by the creature, and HP is the amount of punishment it can take before it becomes a cute little corpse. Last but not least, the bottom middle displays lead affiliation. Callous Mage is neutral, so it can be used in a deck. Cards that say Prisoner to 18, on the other hand, are mine. Keep your grubby hands off them unless you're playing a deck where I'm the lead. Okay, so the different characters are kind of like the colors or factions in this game, with neutral cards being usable across all of them. Do you see what makes spells different from creatures? Licensing fees, power, and HP. That's right, spells are a powerful one-time effect, whereas a creature will stay on the board until it dies. Don't forget that creatures attack your opponent directly, depleting their life source. Play powerful creatures, keep them alive, and keep your opponent from doing the same. Teach me about keywords. Keywords sound good. Coming soon. Oh, apparently that's not done yet. All right. Oh, these are people. Are these people we can play against? I think these are computers we can play against. Easy computer. Jado starter. Deals 1 damage to all opposing creatures. Summon a Cinder and target space on your board. You control less than 3 creatures. Summon an Elemental Knight randomly to your board. Give your Elemental Knights and Elemental Sprites +1/+1 and hunt. Until end of turn, if there are 4 more units on your board, erase them. End of turn, if there are 4 more creatures on your board, erase them to become an Energized Devourer. I don't appear to have a way to find out what an Energized Devourer is. I'm gonna hide the spells. Initialize, give Knight of Misfortune 3/0. I assume initialize means when you play it. Alright, so you pick a card to play. We have a dog. Until or end of turn, if you control a creature with 10 or more power, this gets +3/+3. Initialize, erase a random Cinder from your board. Gets +4 attack if that happens. Okay, this one of these made a Cinder, right? Okay, this one makes a Cinder. So you probably want to wait to play this till after we do that. The AI agrees with our play. They also played the same thing we did. Initialize, erase up to 3 corpses on your board. Success, deal 1 damage to all opposing creatures for each corpse erased. Okay, so they have a bunch of spells here. Erase a corpse on your board. So your units don't attack other units directly in this game. They deal damage equal to their attack to your opponent's life each turn. It's mostly your spells that deal damage to their units. What's the downside to hiding our draws? I don't know. The tutorial didn't mention that. It asked me if I wanted to hide this or not, and I chose no, but it didn't explain that I could hide draws each turn. Maybe you have to, yeah, we'll try, when we draw our card next turn, we could choose to hide it and see what it does. My opponent played Cinder Blast, dealing 1 damage to all of our stuff. And I assume damage stays marked. Mystic Pyre. Erase a corpse on your board. Summon 3 Cinders into random empty spaces on your board. You control no other creatures, give them 1 toughness. Alright, I chose hide, and it doesn't look like being able to do it a limited number of times. You hide 2 cards at the start. You can hide 1 more over the course of the game. Okay, so now that I've hidden this Mystic Pyre, it's not going to ask me to hide anything else then. Deal 1 damage to all... Oh, I have to target a space. It's like, what is it? Wait, no, it wants me to target a space. Got it. Alright, so we both played a spell, so they... Looks like the spells happen simultaneously here. So damage gets marked based on attack. These things all deal damage to each other. Some corpses happen on the boards. Okay. You have +3/+3 target creature on your board. Target creature on your board. Render it soulless. One of the things the client's definitely lacking is the ability to figure out what the keywords do inside of the game. Like, I think soulless means it's not going to leave a corpse, maybe, but I'm not 100% on that. And there isn't a way for me to figure that out, it doesn't look like. So if I play this, I can erase the corpse to deal 1 damage to all of my opponent's stuff, which would kill this Cinder, so that seems good. Put in play Mystic Pyre, erase a corpse on your board. It's a lot of Cinders, chat. Is there a way inside of the game, Hespera, that I can see what Soulless does or what the keywords on the cards do? Feels like an oversight to not have that. Usually things that create things or have words like that obscure game text you want to have easy access to. Okay, so there's Cinders. Yeah, not right now, Silence. So these things deal damage to my things at the end of every turn. Clicking on them in Deck Builder database has the keywords on it. Okay. You control less than 3 creatures, summon an elemental knight randomly on your board. Give your elemental knights and elemental sprites +1/+1. Let's see what this one does. I believe... I was looking at the tutorial earlier. I believe hunt means this attacks my opponent's units directly. Seems like a really powerful keyword. If you click log, there should be a button in the top right to see a reference sheet. Oh, look at that. This creature deals combat damage to a random opposing creature if possible. If not, it attacks the opponent. Soulless. This creature has been stripped of all buffs, debuffs, and abilities, including any effect from the board. Power and HP are reset to the original state. Okay. Yeah, ideally it would be sweet if, like, this icon came up with this text when you moused over something. Okay, so this is going to keep eating their stuff, so that seems good for us. They're also almost dead. They're at 15. Render all creatures on your board soulless, excluding Ravenous Construct. For each creature that gains soulless, Construct gains +4 or +1/+1. Seems rather large. All right, let's see what happens when we make our thing soulless, chat. Give target creature you control +1/+4. That was 8 to... They're at -1, so I believe the game is done. You are victorious. Got it. Does this game work on a mobile browser? Doesn't seem like you need to type. Yeah, it should work on mobile. The GUI says that... The GUI, assuming the, like, I imagine Chrome on Android and stuff is pretty functional on mobile. So I know they're planning to do a Steam release at some point. I have to imagine probably mobile releases as well based on the interface. Not officially supported, but it works. Yeah. Your mileage may vary. Download replay. You feel a curious tingle at the back of your skull. The core is looking for a worthy master. Is it you? Select a card. First match reward. I like free stuff. In the deck builder. Database. Okay, so here's the cards. When I click into them, it explains. Yeah, like this is pretty perfect. It would be great if like these 3 boxes showed when you're playing the actual game and like clicked on a card to explain what these things do. This ability is activated immediately after the creature is played command. Okay. All right, let's take a look at deck builder, import. The person that set me up sent me some deck codes to import to play with because I asked. So one of the other things, I mentioned that there were a lot of things this game was doing that seemed very unique from other card games. And one of the things that's unique is the deck building. So all of the cards in this game have one of 4 different rankings, and the way you build your decks is dictated by how many cards of each ranking you can put in your deck. So you can have 3 S tier cards, 4 A tier cards, 3, 4, 5 B tier cards, that's a 6 C tier cards, and you have to have exactly that number in each category. And you can see here, like this one that I've imported has a couple Vehement Ghouls. Hespera, if you were to recommend a which of these, six, there's 6 lead characters. Which of the 6 lead characters should I start with? Which one is the easiest? Easiest to get started with? Sent me a deck code for each of them. Let's see if he had any recommendations in here. Just descriptions. Wants to rush the opponent down, aggressively using... Alright, this one's described as an aggro deck. Let's start with that one. And learning, starting with aggressive decks is basically always correct. Let's read the cards in our deck here. Erase target creature on your board with power 4+. If this is successful, target a column on your board. Change the field to +5/+5. Rage 3, end of turn, deal 5 damage to the controlling players. This oh no. Oh no, did I just erase that from my deck? I wanted to zoom in on it. It was this guy, right? This ability is activated at the end of each turn. You may only include 1 copy of a unique card in your deck. Rage gets +X/-X each turn. So this card is a shelf life then, right? So it gets +X/-X, so it'll hit for 11 and then 14 and then it'll kill itself. Is this game popular? This is a new indie card game, Gruntman. They're currently in beta and you can play in your web browser. So they're just getting started. We're checking it out for the first time today. Yeah, I agree. That would be my biggest piece of interface feedback. Having all of the keywords described, like when I mouse over a card here, ideally it should let me see the keywords. I also like here, so this is Expert Spell Thief. I don't think I can zoom in on the info from here, right? Because I can't right click on it, and if I click on it at all, it gets rid of it. So I can add it back here and then click info over here. But if I want to like learn what the keywords do, I have to mouse over it and then search in here. So Mana Magnet means this counters an opponent's spell. Each turn, deal 3 damage to the highest power creature on the opponent's board. This card seems absurd. It's a potential counter spell, and it hurts their board, something on their board each turn, and it attacks for 3. Looks like all of these A-list cards deal damage to things on board. I imagine the higher the tier, the more powerful the cards are. Hunt, Rage 1. Yeah, I think part of that TDM is probably a limitation because it's currently running in the web browser. So I'm not sure if, like, the web browser, for instance, lets you have right-click context menus. Alright, let's try and play a game here with this. Some kind of long press, perhaps, though, would be nice. Alright, so we start with 6 cards. We get to hide 2 of them from our opponent to start, and then we can hide 1 more over the course of the game. So I probably want to hide cards that I don't want to play right away. So Incendiary Stream, target a row on your opponent's board, deal 8 damage to every creature in that row. That seems good. Oh, what does slow mean? It says slow 4. Does that mean it takes time to happen? Slow is as close as we come to having a mana cost. What does it mean exactly? I didn't mouse over that. Oh, it can't be played. Right. Okay, I remember that from one of the other tutorials. So this card can't be played till after turn 4. Okay, that's neat. It's an interesting way to balance it without giving cards a mana cost. Erase target creature on your board with power 2 or above. Erase a random creature on the opponent's board with power 5 or above. That seems like a good use of variance. So like it has a random element to it, but it's kind of controlled, right? Because it explicitly only targets things that are big. Let's hide our pieces of removal, I think, is probably right most of the time. Okay, so my opponent and I have different lead champions. So you can see here we have different spots on our board. So our lead champion here doesn't just have stat modifiers. It also has a space that gives something Rage 1. Or it has a life space. Creatures played in this ability gain end of turn. The controlling player gains 1 life. And my opponent's board here has a space that gives their unit Mana Magnet. And Mana Magnet is the counterspell ability. The next spell is canceled at the expense of this creature's life. So, Prisoner 218 can basically turn any of their units into a counterspell for spells. Then we can look at, so they have 6 cards to start. We can look at all of their cards. Field change 3-2. I imagine that changes the field spot that they're in. Unique, each turn, kill an allied creature excluding Greta. Kill an opposing creature and gain +1/+1. That's really good. So it can kill one of our things every turn. It's a unique one that's S tier. Oh, my camera is slightly over their top card. Yeah, I agree, TDM. The cards being revealed and like being able to try and predict and edge what they have while also having a small hidden element is neat. The simultaneous game actions is also pretty novel. Yeah, I wonder if that's the difference between the easy bots and the medium bots. Maybe we'll throw the next bot on medium to have equivalent health total. Let's start with Earth Splitter. This thing kills rather quickly. Deploy you there. So you can see here. Oh, this has Hunt. Oh, that's gross. And Hunt happens before I deal damage. That's really rude. Okay, so this has Hunt and Rage. Hunt means it's attacking my units directly, and Rage means it loses an attack, or loses a defense and gains an attack each turn. So this will eventually burn itself out, but it's going to take a number of turns to do so. Deal 3 damage to yourself to set target creature's HP to 8. Erase all corpses on your board. Each creature in target row on your opponent's board gets -2 attack for each corpse erased. Give each friendly creature with Rage 1 toughness. End of turn. If this is the only creature on your board, it gets +1/+1. Huh, this seems pretty nasty. Like, the fact that this has Hunt, I don't have... Oh, this has Hunt. Spellscarred. Hunt, Spellscarred 1. It doesn't look like Spellscarred's. Hespera, what does Spellscarred mean? Spellscarred means it takes more damage from spells. Okay. End of turn, if its HP is 2 or below, erase it. Summon 3 Defiant Spirits to randomly unoccupied spaces on your board. Okay, so this is going to turn into a 5/3 because of the Rage. And this is a 4/4, so I don't have a way to keep this alive, right? Because this is going to turn into a 5/3. But I believe if we play this out, these will attack each other then, because they have Hunt. Do the spirits leave corpses? I don't know. Each turn, if you control less than 3 creatures, summon a test subject. End of turn, deal 2 damage to random opposing creature. Success, gain +2/+1. Or +2/-2. Our opponent's deck has a ton of interaction. This deals 2 to a random opposing creature. I don't want to play a spell because this is a mana magnet in this slot, so that stops my spells. This is going to kill my units. Deals 8 to everything in that row. Oh, and I can't incendiary because this is a mana magnet. I just said that. Most of our things are spells. I guess we're just playing a unit out. So this thing killed one of their allied creatures and then killed one of our things. Yeah, our deck doesn't seem like it has much play here. Where is the forfeit? That one. Give a random creature on your board +2/+1. Each turn, deal 1 damage to a random opposing creature. Repeat twice. Alright, after experiencing 218, I'm going to go ahead and import the 218 deck and try that. Mana Magnet does kill the unit, so you can at least use it as a removal spell, basically. It's still a 1-for-1. Each turn, deals 2 damage to a random opposing creature for each corpse on your board. Hey, there's that Bound Siren that messed us up last game. That sounds great. Erase target creature with power 2 or less. Redraw 2. What does redraw mean, Hespera? Redraw means you can choose 2 cards in your hand to return to your deck to draw 2 new ones. And can you do that at any point, or does that count as your action for the turn? Yeah, there's a lot of keywords. It would be helpful if we could. I'm glad Hespera's in chat to help us figure out what they are. Feels like it would be tough without having someone that knows what's going on. So this is their only unit, unless they have one face down here. I'm gonna play Bound Siren to start. I'm gonna put in the +2/-1 space. This seems like a really good card to control their board as Hunt, so it attacks their things directly. Oh, it's part of the spell. That makes sense. Each turn, if you control less than 3 creatures, summon a test subject. Success, deal 3 damage to Alchemist, Coffin. End of turn, if you control a test subject, gains 1 attack. Okay, so Coffin is something I probably want to play on... Oh, I was just saying, I probably want to play this on a space that gives plus... That gives plus defense, but I actually don't have any spaces that do that, huh? So... Normally, the units... Hunt seems like a really powerful keyword in this game. Normally, units attack your opponent's life total directly each turn, as opposed to directly attacking other units. And Hunt means, instead of attacking their life total directly, it instead attacks units if they're there. So Hunt seems like the primary form of interaction from your board to theirs. So, normally... You meant how Hunt doesn't trade. Yes, they don't strike each other. It's just your thing with Hunt deals damage with its power to one of their things. So it's not like blocking in Magic or Runeterra where the things bump into each other. It's just this thing with Hunt strikes something on their board. Yeah, like this card just seems very silly. Like... Summon an Elemental Knight to random space on your board. Okay. Yeah, are things that slow 8 soulless. So slow 8 means I can't play it until turn 8 or later. Turn 3, as I say, there's probably something that says the turn on the board. Having things with Hunt that control the board seems extra powerful. Each turn, give a random test subject or Alchemist Coffin you control resolve to. This creature gains X HP at the end of each turn. That seems good. Alright, so you can see the units hit each other's life total. This does 2 to something. Their things hit our board. This hits at random, unfortunately, so it didn't hit the one that had 2 toughness. Merciless Lashing. Deal 3 damage to a random creature on your opponent's board. Repeat 2 more times. Okay. It feels like we're ahead on board at the moment. So I probably want to deploy something to my mana magnet space. Although this could let me kill one of their Cinders guaranteed, so it doesn't hit my board. Let's do that. Let's target my board there. Oh, this is random. Oh, and they're both X2, so that's fine. Erase all corpses on your board. Each creature in a row loses power equal to that. So these all lost 6 power because they wiped out my corpses. And this thing kills itself here. Because it goes down to 0, it looks like. These test subjects get bigger every time you gain attack and lose toughness every time they do something. So we have something to clear corpses out of our board. Erase target test subject on your board. Success, summon 2 test subjects in random empty spaces, then give all friendly test subjects +1/+1. So I could erase this one to get 2 more, and then this one gets bigger. I can also erase this one because it's kind of weak. This one's at 9, but it's also in the mana magnet spot, so it's probably going to counter one of their spells when they play it. Target a row on your board, summon a test subject into every unoccupied space on that row, and then give them +1/+1. I don't have anything. Each turn, deal 2 damage to a random opposing creature for each corpse on your board. That seems pretty good. We have a couple of corpses here. Might as well put them to use. So they played Prophecy, but I had Mana Magnet, so their thing died. So this is turn 6. I don't really have anything to do. Because these corpses are blocking these spaces. I can't play this for 2 more turns. You like replicate? Would Lash summon anything that they play? Yeah, that's true. We could play Lash anticipating they're gonna play a unit out. They also have a ton of spells though. They can't play this yet. These are their only 2 units. Hey, Choice, thanks for the 24 months. Let's try to replicate. Redraw 2. Okay, cool, yeah, and this has redraw 2, so I get to put some cards into my deck and get some others back out. Let's put the Gruesome Legions back. Wait, what did I miss? Erase target test subject on your board. Oh, wait, their card, erase all corpses in play. Okay, so those, I was like, where did my corpses go? Because my board just freed up space. Okay, that makes sense. Each turn, erase an opposing creature with Hunt. Seems decent. Yes, learning the keywords is crucial to any card game, which is why, like, when I mouse over them like this, ideally they should pop up to the right. Help you get a better feel for it. Neat. Okay, so this is some kind of corpse control. It feels like having the ability to remove corpses off your board is pretty important. Should have put this in the Mana Magnet slot to lock out a potential spell from them later. I don't think having keywords is bad. Like, having keywords, generally speaking, is a good thing because it makes card text shorter and more parsable overall. Less than 2 lab-grown failures on the board. Summon a lab-grown failure in a random unoccupied space on your board. Interesting. Okay, so this is turn 8. So we could finally play this card, the 7-10. They also have this 7-10, though. I feel like they're pretty likely to play out their giant monster. So I think I'm going to actually play Merciless Lashing to try and, like, clear their board out. Get that, chat. We predicted their play. Because the cards were face up. And then the test subjects should finish this off, hopefully. Nailed it. At the end of every turn, these deal 2 to a random opposing unit. Each turn, if you control only this creature, get bias from one. Nope, definitely don't only control that. You control at least one creature with mana magnet. This gets +1/+1. I think we just play our own fatty boy out here. These test subjects are going to die here because they... Yep. Erase all corpses on your board. For each corpse, erase, summon a wraith to a random empty space on your board. I don't know what a wraith is, but let's find out together, shall we? They played a mana magnet card, so these trade off. Deal 1 damage to a random target on the enemy board. Repeats 5 more times. That seems fine, right? They're going to put a unit in play. And then all of these deal damage equal their power and it dies. Alright, so far my votes are that Prisoner 218 seems busted, chat. She has a bunch of cards that allow you to kill the things that play to the board. The Merciless Lashing prediction on a big creature is basically the intended game experience. We see our opponent's hand, we exchange mind games, we fight for control, and stuff is happening in 12 turns / 80 life. Yeah, I like, it feels like one thing... Oh, and we beat him on medium, so now we've unlocked hard. Okay. Got it. It feels like, what's the I'm searching for? As you learn more of the ins and outs, being able to predict what they do should be pretty satisfying. And then there's different levels where, like, okay, I think they're gonna do this, so I should do this, but they see what my card is, so you go back and forth. And the fact that the game ends after 12 turns and each player has a high starting life total means the game should be pretty predictable in terms of length too, right? Like, once you get a good feel down and I'm not talking through everything, I'm not having to read every single card, I imagine the games clip along at a pretty good pace. Alright, so we get to hide 2 cards in our hand at the start of the turn. Again, at the start of the game. Again, you want to hide things that you're going to be playing later in the game as opposed to playing more quickly. I'm going to hide our slow 8 card, so they won't know that bomb is coming. 15 minutes is the max, usually about 10. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and we've got them set hard now, so they also have 80 life. 1 damage to a random creature on your opponent's board. If successful, Harvestman gains 1 attack. And abilities like this are different than Hunt because this will also still deal damage to my life total each turn. Erase all corpses on your board, gets 1 attack for each corpse erased. Okay, this is a neutral card, so you can play this in every deck. It seems pretty good in terms of corpse management. It is only browser-based currently, Zoran. So they are planning to do a Steam release, and I imagine probably mobile at some point too, depending on what their development timelines look like. But right now, just by going to fatalcoretcg.com. Alright, so what do we want to do here? So they probably want to start by playing a unit out. This only has its triggered ability if we have corpses on our board, but I think I just want to get something into play to start dealing damage to them. What's going on, Declan? We're this person over here, and this is the opponent over here. It is, you're right. It's different than the other card games because it's left and right as opposed to up and down. It's a good observation. You're pretty smart. There's a tiny human behind you in the door. Are you being robbed? Alright, so getting Alchemist Coffin down quickly seems good because it could create test subjects for us. The question is, do I want to put it in a mana magnet spot? I think I do, because after it makes a test subject, I don't mind this dying, I don't think. Hey, Jerry, thank you for the 30 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We are not going to hide that one because I think we're playing that out. Maybe I'm not, actually. I'm going to hide that one. I think we're going to gruesome experiment here because they played Expert Spell Thief. I guess I could just play any spell to kill this. This has Mana Magnet. So, Mana Magnet means if I play a spell, this, like, erases itself to counter that spell. So I think I just want to just play a spell to get rid of this. This deals 3 damage to my highest power creature on the opponent's board each turn, which is not great for us. Force redraw 2. Oh, I get to take cards out of their hand and shuffle them back in? That's sick. Okay, so redraw 2 is out of my deck. Force redraw 2 is out of their hand. Okay, so Mana Magnet wipes that out. Yeah, if you just go to fatalcoretcg.com, you can log in and start playing. No referral link for this one, Paladin. Just check it out in your browser. Alright, and Gruesome Legion, this is slow 5, so I can't quite play this out yet. Resolve 1, each turn, erase a random creature with 2 HP or less on the opponent's board. Rude. Okay, so I think I'm going to... I kind of want to keep my board clear, so that way I can Gruesome Legion to get test subjects all across here. I think we're going to Pain Feast and get rid of this. And I can redraw here. Do I have to redraw 2 or can I just pick 1? I have to pick 2. I've never heard of that one, Blue Man. Well, I can click on 1 card both times. I was not expecting that to work that way. So Haunt would kill this and get rid of 2 corpses off my board. I think I still just want a Gruesome Legion here, though. Getting a bunch of test subjects seems great. Oh, they mana magneted me. I think we're gonna die to the bot, chat. This is a new card game. You have -1/-1 to all opposing creatures. That seems reasonable. Hunt means I guarantee attack their biggest thing, so this would kill this. I kind of don't mind clearing out some corpses, though. To play Haunt here. Alright, so this is turn 7. So the game is half done. The game ends on turn 12, guaranteed. Raise all corpses on your board and summon 2 Defiant Wisps. Give them Mana Magnet. Give them +1/+1 for each corpse erased. Seems very good. Well, I could have Shadowed Strings last turn and gotten a bunch of Wraiths. That's Callous Mage. The, Prisoner 218 seems like it has a lot of good cards in it, but the game spaces on her board are really rough. The fact that all of the spaces lose your thing's life is awkward. Alright, that sounds great. Not a mana magnet. Alright. Deal 3 a bunch, please. And now that shrinks them all, so we're kind of getting control of the board again. What kind of game is this? It is a digital card game that's free to play in your web browser. Thinking about Gruesome Legion, this would have been a reason. Maybe I should have put this down here as opposed to up here, so that way I could have had a full row for Gruesome Legion at some point. That's probably a mistake. I think I'm gonna go ahead. The problem is if I play another unit out to my board, I lose his ---- effect, which has been really good. But everything in my hand is a unit at this point. I think we just play Bound Siren and get the hunt on. Each turn, deal 2 damage to random opposing creature. End of turn, deal 3. So this does 5 per turn, basically. It does 2 at the start and then 3 at the end. Yeah, we're definitely dead here. I don't think I managed my corpses particularly well. Thinking about the one that puts something across the entire row should dictate how I position my things a little bit better. Are you dizzy from spinning in my chair, child? Hey, do not bump into the shelf. There's a lot of games up there, dude. Hey, you can't be crazy in here. I need you to go out of the office, please. You may sit in the chair nice, but please stop spinning. Alright, what are we doing here? I think we basically always want to hide the really slow one, and then probably a piece of removal. Lashing seems fine to hide. It's probably our most powerful piece of removal. I think we start with Alchemist Coffin as a mana magnet. Resolve 1, spell scarred 1 each turn. Give +1/+1 to up to 2 friendly units. Slow 4, target a row on your board. Each creature at +2/+2. So this does 2 to their thing. So if I don't play a unit out this turn, this will summon me another test subject because I have fewer than 3 things. I also have... It's also a mana magnet, though, because it's in this slot. So, like, if they play out a spell, this will kill itself to that. I have 1 unit here. Yeah, if I deploy a minion, it does not hurt itself. Go ahead and play out Lost Tech Savant. Again, I'm going to prioritize leaving this entire bottom row open, so that way I can use this Gruesome Legion to summon things across of it. Deal 2 damage to all opposing creatures, force redraw 2. It's probably fine to show. I'm gonna go ahead and Lashing here to clear their board out. And then she gets bigger because we have a mana magnet. This explicitly kills things that have Hunt. So that kills that. We're going to turn 4 here, so I'm still 1 turn away from Gruesome Legion happening. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and Scatter Shot here. Because again, next turn I'm lining up Gruesome Legion for here, so I don't want to play a unit out to these spaces. And I would like... Oh wait, this is going to make a test subject, isn't it? That kind of throws a kink in that plan. Huh? A Scatter Shot still, I think. And this is down to 2. So this will kill itself, make a test subject, and then this test subject will kill this. Because at end of turn it deals 2. Okay. Summon a Kingry Bandit. Target space on your board. Success, deal 2 damage to a random opposing creature. Clearing out this corpse here in the mana magnet space is probably valuable, so we can keep a mana magnet going to keep this getting bigger. So I think I'm going to go ahead and Shadow Stirrings to erase this and try and get something else in the mana magnet spot here. So this erases all the corpses on my board. And it gives me a couple of soulless things. End of turn, if banished one is not the highest powered creature on your board, erase him. Do I want a Legion here for just 2 test subjects? That probably seems fine. It'll deal a lot of damage to this. Target a row in your board. Give each creature in that row 2. And then she gets bigger because we have something in the mana magnet slot already. So that's a corpse now. So now my board is full. And I need a way to get rid of a corpse. Hey, thanks for the Prime support, Dark Raider. I appreciate the 1.5 years. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So I don't have anything. Don't have anything that lets me remove this corpse from my board. So things that summon test subjects don't seem particularly good. I guess we just Mind Crush here, because it deals 2 to this, and then each of these will deal 2, and it'll get rid of this, which seems good. We could force a redraw on a couple of cards out of their hand here. They're ones that interact with me. Okay, so now replicate here on this is good because I get to what's what I'm searching for? I get to make 2 and fill these spaces here. And I get to redraw some of those cards that are not particularly useful. This gives me another mana magnet. It's almost dead from test subjects here. Gruesome Legion doesn't do much at the moment. I think we're just Haunting. It'll kill this, and it'll get rid of this corpse, so I can fill that space with something better next turn. Yeah, definitely, Hespero. Alright, so we ended up killing them by knocking their health total to 0. So the games always end based on life total. So there's 12 turns total. At the end of the 12th turn, whoever has the higher life total wins, or if you deal the full 80. Get that. We bested one of the hard bots, chat. Try the Prisoner 218 deck one or two more times. Maybe we'll import something else for a different one in the last one. Callous Mage is a really good first play because it shrinks our opponent's stuff each turn. Again, I want to hide my... We're really good at opening on the Void's Curse. We're going to hide the slow 8. I think I want to hide this one because it's kind of a form of removal with the corpses. I think we want to open on Callous Mage because this gets, this shrinks all their stuff each turn. Deal 1 damage to a random opposing creature, repeat twice. So this is going to die when this triggers, assuming we don't play anything else out. I guess I could technically play this as like, hey, look, a distraction. We don't have any test subject generation to start in our hand. Building corpses up for Shadow String seems pretty reasonable, though. This is another neutral card that seems good at getting rid of corpses. Okay, and this is a mana magnet, so it's going to counter whatever spell we play. So I think we're just playing Mind Crush's Hey Look, a Distraction to get rid of their thing. One thing I haven't looked at, Hesper, and I'm not sure if this is a stat you might know offhand. Do you know how many neutral cards on average does each deck make up versus how many of the lead specific cards? It seems like for instance, this was in both of the last deck we played against too. So like, how much overlap is there in S tier cards, the S cards between the different leads? One of the things, having played some Hearthstone, that always felt kind of tough to balance is like playable neutral cards felt like they showed up everywhere, which should become a little redundant. Because like, if they're playable, they can go in every archetype basically. So this is slow 5, so I still can't play this turn yet. I guess I'm just playing this out as a 2/2. That's gonna die to this and make a corpse. Although if we fill the corpses, Shadow Stirrings gets better eventually, so I guess that's the play. I'm gonna put it down here so that way I can Gruesome Legion this entire top row. Slow 3 Hunt. That means it attacks my units directly. Summon a Phantasmal Lancer to a random empty space on your board. Down for now. Let's do some Legion in this room. Like this card, for example, is neutral and it seems patently absurd. I can't think of like the decks we've played so far. Like I wonder like why isn't this in the deck that I'm playing? Because it just seems very, very good. I guess it has the downside of filling your board with corpses, but I don't know if that's strictly a downside in a lot of instances. I guess it depends on how much corpse management you have. Having having things as tribal cards seems like a good way to avoid them appearing everywhere. I got a certificate in corpse management from one of those TV ads for correspondence courses of the 90s. Yeah, that's a good observation. The fact that he forces you to make corpses like their board's full now is a real downside. Although they're quite far ahead in terms of damage being dealt. I think we're gonna go ahead and Shadow Stirrings now. This will make us 5 things. And then these are soulless, and soulless things don't leave bodies behind. I feel like I need a flavor judge ruling on that. If you don't have a soul, you don't leave a corpse. I don't know how I feel about that one from a flavor perspective. Ooh, this is good. Each turn, erase an opposing creature with Hunt. That thing is hunting down our monsters. Put this here. Well, we're gonna die to the bot again, chat. Oh, this deals damage at random. Okay, the test subject ended up killing the one we wanted to kill. Nailed it. Lashing is probably too little too late. We're super low on life. It's already turn 10. I don't think we can catch back up from 65 in the number of turns that we have. Alright, I'm gonna run and fill my water bottle really quick, and when I get back, we're gonna try one of the other deck codes I was given to import. BRB. Yeah, I think that feels kind of accurate so far, Innuendo. The way the turn system kind of works, where you only take one action per turn, the games definitely feel a little bit snowbally so far. Where like once one person gets a bit ahead, it feels like it's hard to come back. That could. The game encourages ways to get engine going, but also gives you tools to control this. Engines require creatures to get going, so we can play something against creatures, or we could get outsmarted and countered. Yeah, it feels like I feel like I'd have to look at. I feel like I'd really need to look at all of the cards to do some deck building, but so far it definitely feels like things that play to the board specifically, or things that attack the opponent's board, are kind of a premium. And I feel like from a deck building optimization perspective, I'm not sure why I wouldn't just want to build something that like has a little bit of corpse management and then it's just like all kill your stuff, because it feels like preventing your opponent from snowballing their board is really important. And a couple of the decks we've played so far, I feel like they don't quite have as much interaction as I would like in them. Must be played on top of a corpse. Each turn gets +1/0 for each corpse you control. That's interesting. And it starts at -4 attack, so it takes a little while to build up. This seems like a tough card to enable. You have to get your board filled up, and then it takes a turn or two still to actually start dealing damage. And over the course of a game that's only 12 turns, it sounds really slow. Give a creature on your board +6 defense and rage 2. Okay. 7 damage to the opposing player. Force redraw 2. That doesn't seem particularly good. There's a lead that generates corpses. Yep. And this is actually that one, right? End of turn, if the graveyard is empty, summon a corpse here. So we're playing that lead. And again, the 6 different leads dictate what your board spaces do. So you can see their modifiers are different than ours, and ours have these ones here that let us summon corpses every turn, so it probably plays better with cards like this that are. You can see this is a Hush specific card, which is our lead's name. I don't, and this is kind of the awkward part, I don't know how I feel about it. There's not a mulligan mechanic I'm missing, right? Because I feel like this hand basically doesn't have anything proactive to do in it, right? So I guess we do this. I'm gonna shuffle away their face down cards. There's a mulligan button. All right, I'm gonna start over and look at that then. Oh, there is. Okay, and it's a full mulligan. It's not a partial. You just get 6 new cards and you get one mulligan once. Okay. This card seems absurd with Hush. We had played this as a neutral card, and we had played it with some of the other ones, but the fact that Hush fills your board with corpses seems real good with that. Unique slow 3, summon 2 elemental knights into random spaces on your board. If there are no other creatures on your board, give them an extra toughness. So this deals extra damage if we keep corpses on the board. So I don't think I want to play out the ghoul just yet. So they played a mana magnet, we played a spell, these trade off. This deals 4 here because of the corpses. So the turn structure looks like each turn happens, then damage happens, then each turn happens, then damage happens, then end of turn happens. Yeah, it feels like the card our opponent just played, for example, like Expert Spell Thief, like things like this card. It seems like there'd be a really good interactive or disruptive deck that just like plays a bunch of Expert Spell Thieves in the A slot, because this interacts with the board and also disrupts their spells. Seems really, really strong. Great Phantom Lydia must be played on top of a corpse. Each turn, summon a corpse and a random enemy's in a random empty space on your board. Success gets +1/+1. We're gonna play that one out. That sounds sweet. So those just killed each other. Okay, so now seems like a good time to put out the ghoul. She summons another corpse. This doesn't quite have attack yet, but it's gonna get 3 attack per turn. Let's hide that. It's a piece of removal. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and Phantom Drive here just to deal some damage to their face. They also get to force redraw and put some cards from their hand back into their deck. Alrighty then. So their entire board is corpses at this point. So they need some amount of corpse management to get back in the game. They have a Haunt here, which can let them do that. How is this game? It's interesting. I feel like I'm largely undecided on good or bad so far. Feels like it's got a lot of unique things going on, and I feel like I can't really form a great opinion on it until I've looked at what the deck building looks like. So far, we're just getting a baseline for like what the mechanics look like and playing decks I was handed pre-constructed. But in terms of the gameplay space that it occupies, it's very unique compared to a lot of other things. Like, there aren't really a lot of, like even like Hearthstone, Runeterra, Magic, like those three games have a lot of direct parallels you can draw to each other, and I kind of feel like, aside from there being life totals, this game doesn't really have a lot of direct parallels to those others. So, this gives something Rage 2, which means it gains 2 attack each turn and loses 1 life. This thing's an X, got 10 toughness on it, so putting this on here should close the game out pretty quickly. The way the turn structure works for anybody just joining us, each turn you can choose to play 1 card, and the opponent also gets to choose to play 1 card, and then they flip up and resolve simultaneously. And there's the Rage. Each turn, your units in play attack your opponent's life total directly, and then the game ends when either your opponent's life reaches 0 or when turn 12 happens in the game. All of the cards in your opponent's hand in your hand, sans a couple that you hid at the start of the game, are face up, which is interesting as well. My opponent's down to 22 at this point. This gets bigger based on corpses, but it also has rage on at this point. So I think at this point I just kind of want to go wide. So I think I've got under, no, where was it? Shadow Stirrings? I got Shadow Stirrings. So I'm going to turn all these corpses into wraiths. And then they have to haunt here to clear the corpses out of their board because they can't play units on tops of corpses. And there's my Soulless. They should be dead here when attacks happen. So this will go to 9, and then each of these are 3. 26. Alright, I'm kind of into the Hush deck. Let's try that one again. The corpse synergies are neat. Bound Siren seems like it. I really, really like this card. This card seems really powerful in every deck we've played it in. Lydia along with Ghoul seems really good. I think I'm gonna hide my interaction here. So at the end of turn, these grave spots we have here are going to turn into corpses, which will be useful for our ghouls and our Lydia. I think we lead on Bound Siren here. So this does 3 damage at the end of turn. These two things are going to end up trading. This has the hunt keyword, which means instead of hitting my opponent's life total, it attacks their strongest unit each turn. I'm going to go ahead and play Lydia out here, because she gets to get more corpses going, which will be good for my ghouls. Okay, and then actually happy that that hit Lydia, because I want this to be able to kill one of their things. Oh, this has hunt as well. Oh, crap. You can show that one. As someone who has, I saw some of the cosmetics and they look nice, Waffle, but as someone who has no emotional ties to K-pop, it's just kind of whatever for me personally. And I had to Google search what KDA was, which is fine. Not everything needs to apply to every person. So, target a column on your opponent's board, field change to O2. So, if I put this Undermine here, this will die, right? Because it's going to field change this +1/+1 to an O2, is my understanding. Let's see if this works as expected. Oh, and it's weak to spells. Okay, that worked out really well. Okay, I think I'm gonna get Ghoul going at this point. So this starts at -4 power, and it gains a life each turn with Resolve, and it gains 1 attack permanently for each corpse on our board. So this goes to -1 attack here. Erase all corpses on your board. For each corpse erase, render a random opposing creature 7 power or more soulless. Yeah, that's probably a good one to hide. It's a good piece of interaction. So now I have to decide, do I want to play the other Ghoul out here? It reduces my corpse count altogether. This has to be played on top of a corpse, but it gets 2 of them. Tank it up. I think that's worthwhile. And this dealing 1 damage to me isn't one of my things. Isn't really a big deal because these both have Resolve. Although we're losing the race at the minute because this has more attack total than we do. I'm gonna go ahead and just play out Shrine Servant here. It's a mana magnet, which lets us counterspell something. Yeah, get out of here. So these both get +2. So this is at 0 and this is at 3 now. So each of these are gaining 2 attack per turn. This is gaining 1 attack per turn. So we're going +4. They're going +1. So long as we kind of keep board parity with anything else they put out, we're ahead. I think I'm going to go ahead and Scattershot here to wipe this out. Plus hit what anything else they might play. Well, they made my thing soulless. That's rude. There's just like a -4/8 just like hanging out there. Ooh, this is really good. So he has Hunt, which lets him attack one of my opponent's things. And then it makes a Phantasmal Lancer, which lets it drop a corpse here, which is nice. What's going on, Big Show? Yeah, top rate for this one. Okay, so this is a 7/8 now at this point. This is probably a point where I want to just go ahead and Shadow Stirrings. 7 attack on this seems like enough. I'd like to clear this out and just start hitting them for large chunks, I think. This gets rid of all my corpses and makes a bunch of 3/2s that are soulless in their spots. Each turn, erase all corpses on your board, gets +1 for each corpse erase. That seems pretty neat early with the graveyard spots. This feels more like a board game than a traditional card game. The number of game actions you take in a turn is very similar to a board game. I think the like differentiating card game feature TDM is like the deck building aspect, right? Like there's different cards in the game and you mix and match cards that you're choosing to play with. That makes some more corpses. Recent a corpse on your board. Give all opposing creatures -1/-1. It's pretty good. Corpse management and interaction. We're just gonna Mind Crush here. And they played a Mana Magnet, so these will just trade. It's another game. This is another game that ended up snowballing, though, is worth noting. Like, we got ahead kind of early, and like it's now 67-5. Hey, to Harlequin, thanks for the 28 months. And that could definitely be a symptom of still learning the game and fumbling on key things, but so far it doesn't feel like we're having like super close games. It feels like we mentioned with snowballing, getting ahead and staying ahead seems to be a theme. This hand looks great. Let's hide some of our interaction again here, I think. This might be my pick for one of the best cards in the game that we've played with or against so far. It's a neutral card, so it could go like this is a card I feel like, for example, like I would expect to include Bound Siren in almost every deck that I would build in this game right now. And like obviously maybe there's some kind of synergies, some type of synergy I'm missing, but like this is just like a good premium piece of removal in neutral, essentially. And it's not even like just a piece of removal. Like this seems like it kills multiple things on average over the course of most games. Deal. Hey, Jethrin, thanks for 13 months. Welcome back. Yeah, part of that is handled by deck building too. Do I want to get Lydia going or not? I feel like I probably just want to drop the Prince because this deals damage equal to corpses every turn, so I want to just try and get that started to keep their board in check. Each turn, erase all corpses on your board. It's +1/+0 for each corpse erased. Let's try this one. Maybe I want to get Lydia down first. Let's get Lydia down first. And then this will be able to synergize with her making corpses each turn. How hard is card acquisition? That's a good question. I'm not sure. So their model of getting cards, you literally can't put actual cash into the game. You acquire cards just by playing, but I'm not sure like what the play rate is of acquiring cards. Seems like an important question. And like when you acquire cards, are you acquiring them randomly? I noticed there are people, you can list specific cards for sale on like a marketplace, so it seems like you can buy exactly the ones you want directly. But you have to acquire in-game currency to get there. what, Hespera, what determines the order of... What determines the order of each turn mechanics? Because, like, for example, this says each turn summon a corpse in a random empty space, and this says each turn erase all corpses on your board. So, ideally, it would be best in some instances if this happened first versus this. Like last turn, it would be nice if we could erase everything and then get a new one and make it bigger. But that wasn't what happened. I think I'm gonna Pain Feast this, so that way it doesn't get a chance to kill my 5/2. I could also Undermine here. Maybe I just want to Undermine here. Yeah, let's do that, actually. That is a lot of test subjects. Alright, so that's a Haunt. Erase corpses on our board. Deal 1 damage to all their stuff for each corpse we erase this way. So this could kill these two. If at each turn card summons something, it will go last in order. So Phantom will erase first, then Lydia refresh it. That makes sense. I don't think that was the order that happened a second ago when we were playing on when that turn earlier played out. Because we didn't end with the corpse there. It erased, and then at the end of the turn there was nothing there. And then these two will trade with each other. Alright, this is a closer game, like we'd been talking about. We're a little bit ahead on life, but now our opponent is ahead on board. What's going on, Doug Sluggins? Thanks for dropping in today. So I can Pain Feast to get rid of this, and they probably can't play... Well, they have Shadow Stirrings. I probably want to play my Mana Magnet out in case they Shadow Stirrings to try and make a bunch of Wraiths here. Mind Rush is good. It'll let me deal with these. So I think we Pain Feast this now. I can redraw some stuff out of my own hand. These two are kind of awkward. Okay, and there's the Shadow Stirrings we expected last turn. So they get to 15 us here, down to 55. Okay, and then now we want to Mind Crush. Okay, I think we scatter shot here then, because this does 1 6 times. So if they deploy another unit to the board, which seems likely, this will allow us to get to a clean board state. Oh, and they deployed it to the mana magnet spot. Soulless does not leave a corpse, correct? Ooh, that's a good one. So, Hunt always hits the largest things, right? Okay, so... Oh, this is the final turn. The final countdown. I'm glad I paid attention to that. So I probably want to play Shadow Stirrings. Huh. So if I if I play any spell, this is gonna go away, right? I only have spells or units that don't have attacks, so I guess we just play a spell, and then we hope that the hunt... Oh, we're just gonna lose, right? They just play the Void's Curse and we die? Yeah, so if I play a spell, this has Mana Magnet here from this, it's gonna counter the spell, but they're gonna play this, it's just gonna deal 7 to me, and the hunt doesn't kill that, and the Phantasmal Lancer isn't enough to kill it. I believe we just lose. Oh, unless they do that. Yay, dumbbot! Yay, dumbbot! yeah, that's a good observation, TDM. This was the first game that we played that wasn't a snowball, and we would have lost there had the bot played the Void Curse on the last turn, because it would have hit our face, and at the end of 12 turns, whoever's lower health total loses. You can see here, all of the different leads have different board space modifiers. What's going on? Going hog wild? I can search for keywords. Look at that. Okay, and if I wanted, just to make sure my understanding's correct, I could literally just fill... Is there a limit at 2 of a card, or do I just not have more copies of Bound Siren? Can I play, like, 5 Bound Sirens in my B slot if I wanted? The max is 2 copies. Okay, that makes sense. So it's uniques are 1... And then these are max of, everything else is max of 2. 1 if it says unique. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, like this here inside the editor is awesome, where it shows you, like, what this is. But it would be ideal if, like, the extra cards that they generate and these details over here happen to, So, S doesn't mean unique. Like, for example, I can play 2 Merciless Beast, but I can only play 3 total S tier cards. HP is 2 or below. Erase it. Summon 3 Defiant Spirits and unoccupied spaces on your board. Seems okay. That's almost like a drawback. Erase a creature with 3 HP or less. Summon a Sword Saint in its space. Oh. Huh. That's kind of a neat synergy card. So you kill one of your smaller things to get a 5/5 with Hunt. I don't know. I'm opening the deck editor for the first time here. I'm gonna try and build something and then play a game with it before we wrap things up today, I think. Each turn, deal 2 damage to random opposing creature. End of turn, deal 3 damage to random opposing creature. I think I want to just build something that kills all of their stuff. Just build the kill all the things deck. It also would be nice if clicking on white space got backed out of the preview. Erase an opposing creature with Mana Magnet. Seems nice. Exchange all fields with your opponent. Kill target creature on an opponent's board. Success, give target creature on your board Mana Magnet. Seems pretty good. I do also have all of the cards. When they asked me if I wanted to do the thing, I asked them, I told them I wanted to build the deck at some point and asked them to load the account up. Perks and bennies, chat. It's all about the perks and the bennies. Shadow Stirring seems real good. The card's been a good finisher. Oh yeah, Expert Spell Thief has been. Seems real good. We've got 2 Bound Sirens, and the decks in this game are only 18 cards, and you start with 6 cards in your hand, and the game ends at 12 turns. So unless you're getting killed quickly, which it seems like if you're playing Interaction you shouldn't be, you literally see every card in your deck each game. Yes, correct. That's why it's redraw and not actual draw. Alright, some C tier cards to the bottom. Scattershot seems really good. Oh, Scattershot's unique. Erase up to 2 corpses from either board. Gain 1 life for each one erased. Kill a random opposing creature with HP or less. 3 HP or less. Success. Erase prison. Overloaded prison. Overloaded Scion. End of turn, erase Fading Spirit. Success, summon 2 Defiant Wisps and random empty spaces on your board. That doesn't seem very good. I guess it generates corpses, kind of. Each target creature on your board, summon Defiant Wisp and give it 1/1. Need one more card, chat. Some more corpse management, probably a good idea. Haunt is a little bit of corpse management. Alright. Let's see if we can catch a live one and lose with a brew to wrap the stream up, huh? Anybody wants to play a ranked match, hop on in. Ooh, we got one. Alright. I think I like hiding the Bound Siren to start so they don't know I could lead on that. Probably the Mana Magnet too, honestly. Each turn, give a random friendly summoned creature 1/1. Raise 3 corpses on your board. Alright, I'm gonna lead on the Bound Siren. And actually I'm gonna put the Bound Siren on the O1 space, I think. No, I'm gonna put it on a +1/-1 space, so that way it gets bigger faster. So my opponent and I both play a card out simultaneously. They're revealed, so this gets 1 attack and loses 1 defense every turn, and then attacks one of my opponent's things. This deals 3 damage to my thing at the end of turn, so these are going to end up trading here. Hide that one for now. This also has Mana Magnet, so if I try to play a spell here, it's gonna get countered by that. I'm gonna play the Alchemist out on this space, so it has, this is gonna kill itself with its rage here, unfortunately, this turn, but it'll get 1 more attack in before it does that. Waiting for the opponent to make their play. Oh, I didn't understand that was gonna work that way. So even if I kill their thing at the during the turn stage, their thing still does the end of turn text? That's not intuitive coming from other games. I was expecting their Expert Spell Thief to not get to deal damage to me, because I was expecting it to not get to deal damage to it was getting killed before the end of the turn, technically. It's probably fine mechanically, it's just definitely not intuitive coming from other games. Yeah, Hangdren, there'll be a video clip for it just like all the other days. Once I sign off, that'll get posted. Yeah, that's definitely what's happening. It seems like things aren't dying with damage marked on them until the very end of turn, which is the opposite of what I expected to happen. Okay, and then like, okay, so then like there, like that happened, right? So now I don't understand why what happened earlier happened, because like, okay, so if it takes damage from a spell, then the rest of the effects don't happen. But if it takes damage during turn step, it still does damage. That feels super weird. I thought I had a grasp on how things were going, but now that behaves differently. Effects happen in phases, so effects in the same phase will happen. Okay, but here's my question. Why differentiate between each turn and end of turn if those are basically the same thing? Like when the turn takes place, like each turn happens, then attacks happen, then end of turn happens. But if something dies during each turn, or would die during each turn, it still attacks. End of turn, sure, but if something takes damage during each turn, it still attacks, right? I guess we'll find out here in a second. It dies unless it has Hunt. Why does Hunt happen during a different phase? Speaking of Hunt, let's get our Bound Siren out. This is still my pick for one of the best cards. It's real good. Is there something in the Hunt keyword that explains that? This creature deals combat damage to a random opposing creature. If not, it attacks the opponent. Is Hunt at random, by the way, or is it the most attack? Font is pretty good. This pulls corpses off my board. I'm kind of ahead on board right now. Initialize, render, an opposing creature, opposing and friendly creature soulless. This Vengeful Scion's gonna be really good at some point here. Yeah, the way Hunt is keyworded, it sounds like it attacks during normal attack. I feel like if the intention is to have Hunt happen at a different timing, it should probably say that in the keyword. Ooh, getting a Soulless Wraith in the Rage slot seems good. So they can't play this out currently, right? Because they have to have a spot that doesn't have corpses in it. My opponent feels kind of stuck on board, but they're up on life, and we're currently losing the race. I think we just go here. I think they're pretty likely to play a spell since their board's full. Yep, Mana Magnet takes it, so we take 6, they take 10, so we're catching up a little bit there. Oh, Soulless doesn't get the field bonus. Okay. That's a sick one. Wait. What happened? Okay, so target a row on your opponent's board, deal 3 damage each on that row. So why does Desperate Curse erasing something beat my ability to deal 3 and leave a corpse? Do their cards take priority over my cards targeting their things? I guess we're just scattershotting, because I assume my opponent's playing Vengeful Scion to sweep my board out here. And I think we're dead at that point. They're gonna Scion to Scattershot, and then they're gonna hit us for 3-5 down to 31, and I just don't have time to catch up at this point. Oh, maybe we kill this. This deals 3. Okay, we killed that. Okay, that might mean we can get back in the race here. We have 2 more attacks. This is turn 10. Each turn, give a random friendly summon creature +2/+2. Okay, so this is the final round. So I have to be able to... get them down 7. I just don't think we can, right? Haunts and Shadow Stirrings are probably too many bits of corpse management. Yeah, Erase is like, it's kind of like Exile. So when things die in this game, they leave a corpse filling a space that you have to clear out before you can put something else in it. So it's also from that resource management perspective different. I was actually really close. So they mentioned in chat that the PvP games were closer. That was definitely closer. I think if these Haunts had maybe been something useful, we'd have been better off. I think I put slightly too many things to manage corpses in my deck. So ended up 2-point shorts there at the end. So again, the decks have 18 cards in them. And you start with 6 in your hand, you draw and play 1 card each turn, and at the end of the 12 turns, whoever has the higher life total wins.
Your office is so clean.
My office is nice and clean, wife. Christy cleaned my office over the weekend because it was disgusting. At any rate, that was Fatal Core. So if you missed any of it, we started by playing through the tutorial, and we played through a bunch of stuff versus bot match. We wrapped up there with the PvP match with a bit of a brew. Again, I think a lot of the game concepts here are really novel. It doesn't have a lot of direct parallels to a lot of the other... Yeah, feel free, Hespera. It doesn't have direct parallels to a lot of other card games that exist out there. The monetization model is also incredibly unique. You literally can't spend money to get cards faster in the client, so there's no microtransactions or anything like that. They're funding their game via Patreon support, so basically crowdfunding development from people that enjoy playing it. You can check it out at fatalcoretcg.com. Right now, it just plays directly in the browser. There isn't currently a desktop or mobile installer, but it works on desktop. And one of the folks in chat said it's not officially supported on mobile, but it's pretty functional there. The UI seems like it would be fine on mobile. So, great. At any rate, that's going to be it for you for today, folks. Remember, I am off on Monday night, so not doing variety stuff on Monday evenings, which is one of the reasons why I put this today after we were done. I'll be back tomorrow morning with some Runeterra stuff, and then I'll be back with another variety segment tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Everybody stay safe out there wherever you're at in the world. Peace, folks.